It's low-key crazy how long it took me to finally get this diagnosis, but better late than never, I suppose. I need you to advocate for yourself. This portion of the video is sponsored by Picmonic. This is an awesome study resource that I use to learn and work on pharmacology, which is easily by far the most difficult topic for me to grasp. But you can work on several things. We'll get into that later. The first recommended videos that they have for me are hypertension because that's what I had previously worked on. But in the content library, you see everything that they're targeting: biochem, micro, physiology, pathology, pharmacology, cardiology, you name it, they have it. And you can go at your own pace. Like, seriously, it does not get better than that. And then after that, I guess it does get better because now it's the medical school holy grail, first aid. So it's first aid and some other books that you can look at and watch some videos pertaining to that and follow along with your book. Like, what? Are you kidding me? How is this reality? For step one, you have it topic by topic. Again, move at your own pace. That is really key. And now the USMLE step 2 section, this is what I'm going to be working on a lot more now. With my family medicine rotation, I have to literally know a little bit of everything. So let me get caught up on that over winter break. They have some USMLE step 1 questions, which is cool and dandy because you can never have too many questions to do. But now let's get into a video. They do this thing where they have pictures and then they use mnemonics. You get it? Picmonic. But seriously, not only do they have pictures and make up mnemonics to go with it, they also give you some fun and pertinent facts. Like, for African Americans, hypertension is very prevalent in that population. So in addition to knowing that, they give you some of the key risk factors for you to look out for on your future patients. Like, come on, get with it, everybody. And after this, you can do a self-assessment, i.e. a little quiz. Who doesn't love to assess what they've learned right after they've done it? Come on, this girl. So do yourself a favor and go down to my description box, hit that link and get a special discount off for using Picmonic. This is a study resource that you do not want to miss out on. Trust me, you won't regret it. Again, hit that link down below, y'all. Back to the video. All right, so before I left home, I was talking to my mother on the phone and I was just like, girl, I literally just ate breakfast, so I'm not hungry to eat lunch, but being in afternoon clinic, I know that I'm gonna get hungry and I won't have time to eat. So I'm going to eat the chicken sandwich, or chicken salad sandwich that I made right before I left, and I wanna be in clinic in about the next 15 minutes, so I got about 5 minutes to get this done. Okay, I finished eating the sandwich and I got a minute left to spare. I'm mad happy that I actually packed it because it was good and I was hungry, even though I didn't want to eat when I was at home. So let me hike it to this walk to the clinic. And I made notes for everyone's charts so that I'm prepared, and I have my family medicine case files book with me to go over any additional cases while I'm there. So wish me well. All right, I had afternoon clinic today and it was already only 5 people on the schedule, only 3 showed up. So I got to see 2 of them by myself, 1 with the doctor, and she gave me some little hacks for writing a note as well. I think I want to walk this way. Yeah, because I never walked this way at all. Anyway, she gave me little hacks for writing a note, which was cool. And so I think I'm getting better at that with coming up with an assessment and plan. Like, she asked me, okay, so Vicky, what does that sound like? And I was like, it sounds like sciatica. She's like, yes, it does. I'm like, shout out to me. Also, shout out to my patient for saying it before she'd even gotten in the room. But I was also thinking it before my patient said it anyway, so shout out to us as a team. But now I'm on my way to go pick up my ADHD medication. I think I'll go into further that at the end of this video, but I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and pharmacies were not communicating. They're on a backlog for ADHD medication, and one pharmacy said that they didn't have it but called and said another pharmacy had it. They still told them that I needed a prior authorization, which I did not, because my insurance will let me get the brand name and not just the generic. The generic is what's on back order. Either way, it just speaks to the importance of patient advocacy and self-advocacy, because I was talking to my mother about this and how, like, I want to work with underserved, disadvantaged, marginalized populations, right? And oftentimes we don't even want to take the medication. And so if you make the transition difficult or hard, then I'm really just gonna be like, forget it. Why do I need to take this? I've been surviving this long without it. Like, these are nothing more than other barriers to health access, like barriers to health care that should not exist, like, at any facet at all. And so I was speaking to one of my mentors last night, like, well, shout out to you for advocating for yourself. I'm like, yeah, shout out to me, but also I want to live in a world where I don't have to advocate for myself and where things are just done as they should be at all times, but clearly we don't live in that world. But that is something that I truly want for me and for my patients and just everybody, because this stuff is wild. Anyway, come with me to Target/CVS to pick up this medication that is not by my house. And, you know, that's also different. So I got out of clinic early since it was only 3 patients. It's 3:30. We definitely were done way before then, but I don't think she wanted to let me leave early, but it's cool. So I just brushed up on my note, and then she finally turned around and was like, okay, well, I'm working on this one note. If you can work on the others, and then I'll review it. And if I need to send it back to you, I will. I was like, okay, I did that already. So then she didn't say nothing. I was just like, all right, let me go to the restroom and y'all have a good night now. And then I head out, so come on. All right, on my way to get these meds. I actually don't think I've gotten off the train at this stop before. It's looking kind of, you know, Christmassy feel, kind of cute, but the goal is to get in, get out. I have to use the restroom, so I'm gonna have to find a potty inside of Target as well, but I'm gonna get home. The only thing I had to eat since breakfast, and breakfast was only 2 biscuits and 2 pieces of bacon, and I burnt the bacon, so it was really 2 pieces of biscuits and clementine. So then I had that chicken salad sandwich. I need food. Please help. Send help now. Medication picked up, and it was free. We love that, love that, love that. I was kind of skeptical because it's a brand name. Wow, these cars too big, because it's brand name and something that's on high demand right now. But got that, got to use the restroom. They did not have fish fry because I wanted to make some fried tofu. So just gonna go home and eat some of that smothered chicken I made from the other day, the string beans and roasted potatoes. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah. Hey y'all, welcome back to Made It to Medicine with Vix. That's me, and welcome back to Vlogmas 2023. So I know y'all remember, like a few months ago, I made a video on how I got neuropsych testing, and they told me that I did not have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but instead I had anxiety and depression. Interesting, because you could probably test every professional student and they probably have anxiety and depression. It's like, let's get to the root of this. Let's ask a little bit more questions and also advocate for yourself. So after I got the diagnosis, I went to the School Resiliency Center, which is specifically for therapy, free 6 therapy sessions for medical students. And then they referred me to their nurse practitioner, who's a psych nurse practitioner. She was like, I don't really agree with this diagnosis, but all right, would you like to get on medication for anxiety? I'm like, yeah, sure, because this isn't fun. Fast forward to now, essentially like a year and a half, actually more than a year and a half later, one of my friends kept telling me, I am certain that you have ADHD. And by one of my friends, I mean several of my friends who also have the diagnosis. And I'm like, you know, I feel like I have it, or I felt like I've had it, but I got professionally tested and they told me that I didn't have it. One friend in particular was like, girl, I need you to get tested again. I need you to advocate for yourself, because I think that life will be a little bit more manageable for you if you have this diagnosis and then probably get on medication. And also all the weird or odd quirks that you have, they're pointing directly to the diagnosis. I'm just like, girl, but they told me that I didn't have it. So like, I'm confused. Like, what do you mean? So I finally scheduled the appointment, and I had to schedule like 2 months out or so, 2 or 3 months out, because you know, it's more of an extensive appointment versus my regular psych NP appointments. They're like 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. She was like, this one would be an hour. And this is solely because I'd already done the neuropsych testing, which I think was like 3.5 hours. So I get in the visit and she starts asking me questions like, well, starting with, how are you doing? Because I didn't realize I haven't seen her at all this year. And then just like things of, well, how are you as a child? Because I just had an appointment that Friday with my PCP, and she was like, oh, well, it couldn't be ADHD because you, based off of things that you're telling me, you didn't display symptoms as a child. You didn't have random outbursts. You didn't, like, you weren't disorganized or anything. And I'm just like, I hear you. The way my lack of focus is set up, or the way I have to trick my brain into focusing by doing Pomodoro, or doing Study With Me Live, or using a time lapse on my phone so I don't use my phone to distract me. Like, there are so many things that come into play where I feel, once I was challenged a little bit more academically, that it was a little bit more prevalent. So she's asking me all these questions, and it got to a point where she was like, do you fidget? Mind you, my hand is literally in my head going like this, and when she said that, I slowly moved my hand down like, yeah. And she said, you know, I wasn't asking you that because you were fidgeting. It was literally the next question. But the way that you responded shows me that you probably got in trouble for that as a child. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know, I can't really remember. And then I stated how my whole life I've had a scatterbrain, and I thought this was normal because other people in my family have scatterbrains. Like, I can jump from topic to topic and feel like you are supposed to follow me or know where I'm going, but apparently that's not normal behavior. But it's been normal for me for my entire life. So it was comforting to hear that my suspicions were correct, because I'm real big on advocating for other people, but I also have to remember to advocate for myself. Although yes, I'm not a physician yet, and I'm just a medical student, but I am an expert at my own body, because no one else lives in my skin, does the things that I do more than I do them. So when I see that something isn't particularly right, then it's important for me to speak up and talk about it. So I will say that I felt kind of like relieved to finally get the diagnosis, but now I'm a part of the medication shortage for ADHD, and how, like, I don't even understand why there's a huge medication shortage. I heard about it over summer, but I didn't really pay attention to it because it didn't directly impact me. But the fact that I was diagnosed a week and a half ago and I still have no medication because nobody has it on stock is kind of crazy. But it is nice to finally put a name to the things that I've been experiencing. And she even told me that, like, the anxiety that you have could be induced because of the untreated ADHD. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Meanwhile, this man told me I didn't have ADHD and it was just anxiety and depression. She's like, you might even be able to get off of your anxiety medication once we start treating the ADHD, because that could be potentially what is impacting you. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So to anyone else out there who feels like, or knows that there's something that's not right, and you've been reporting it to, you know, a physician, a teacher, whomever, in whatever field that it is that you are having these difficulties, keep going. Like, keep advocating for yourself until you get the answers, or some type of answer that'll prepare you for it, so that you don't feel like you're stagnant. Because literally, when I was studying for the MCAT for the last time back in 2020, I remember my desk being by the window and me being distracted by everything, like a bird going by, a car, a door opening, me hearing footsteps. I'm steadily looking out the window, and I'm like, y'all, my attention should never be this wavery or this wavered. So advocate for yourself. Like, that's really the meat and potatoes of it all. Self-advocacy is just as important as advocating for marginalized, disadvantaged, underserved communities. Like, you have to begin with advocating for yourself so that you are now comfortable advocating for those who don't necessarily have a voice. So I guess that's pretty much it I have for this one. Is a pretty short video, but take home point, advocate for who? Yourself and then others. Catch you next time.